The NYPD searching for 6 alleged gang members accused in the recent attack of 2 police officers in Times Square. 5 young suspects are already in custody. For more on this, let's bring in CBS News law enforcement contributor and former deputy commissioner with the NYPD, Richard Esposito. Richard, it's been a while. I thought maybe crime was over.
No, I took a break from crime and went to a crime conference.
Well, it's good. It's good to have you back. I hope you were able to impart some wisdom on those folks. All right, now let's talk about this case here on a serious note. There has been some pushback over tying this case to a gang. How does the NYPD categorize a gang, and does this fit the description?
I'd say without a doubt this fits the description of a violent gang, a young violent gang, and the police department is pretty good about how they categorize what a gang member is. It's not just a tattoo. It's not just a set of small criteria. The gang database that they build is a pretty solid database.
Yeah, no, I mean, I figure it's pretty vast, and what we've heard from the mayor yesterday and from Commissioner Tisch yesterday, it's like there's such a link. I mean, even if it's just a picture and you're not necessarily in a gang, but you're pictured with gang members. I mean, as you know, you got to follow up leads, and I'm not saying you're in a gang, but you may know somebody or you may know something, and that's how you're able to apprehend some of these guys.
Right, and being in the database is not convicting you of the crime. What's putting you in the crime scene, the gang database helps identify you. In this case, look, we have a child essentially as a ringleader of this gang, and our system really doesn't contemplate that kind of child. One who's inculcated to violence from a foreign culture. So, I mean. We have precautions in place. We're careful with what we do. And the idea of getting rid of a database that's valuable to police, a narrow database, there's not like going to be 1 million people in there, is just a dumb idea from the city council.
How much does it blow your mind that we're talking about a 12-year-old ringleader? I mean, I know I've got a lot of police officer friends in my town, and what they'll say is some of the other towns will send some of the minors in, whether it's carjackings or things like that, because they can't get clipped and they get released. But, I mean, that's 15 or 16. This is 12.
Yeah, it's 12. And our system is designed with alternatives to sentencing, sealed records, to treat a child as a child and see if there's a path of diversion. Our system didn't contemplate a child like this. This child was already caught at 11 and let go. And he's linked to a string of robberies in Central Park. And now they're in the middle of Times Square attacking police and basically attacking the fabric of our society. So what do you do with a kid like this that doesn't really fit in our system? I would argue, you ought to reunite this kid with his parents, and then you ought to begin the legal process of moving them out of the country. There's no reason for his kid to be here.
And that's just it, because this problem is twofold with this young man. Not only is he 12, but he's also a migrant. So, where does with the NYPD, where do they fall on? Is it more of a, hey, we need to impose justice here, or just get him out of the country?
I mean, I think with the older kids, I go back and forth, the 15-year-old, the 16-year-old, like, should they go into our prison system and be convicted and then go be deported, or just be deported? In this case, this kid doesn't get to go to prison. That's not how our system works. This kid would be given alternatives, and their alternatives are probably not going to work with this kid. So I'd say this kid and his family, absent some unusual circumstances, it's time to go.
Yeah, rehabilitation is a tough explanation for this, with the history, not only with assaulting police officers in broad daylight in Times Square, but then also robbing people in Central Park. He's already got a jacket a mile long at 12 years old. All right, Richard, great to see you as always. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
All right, our law enforcement contributor, Richard Esposito. And for more, you can head to our website, cbsnewyork.com.